With the upcoming release of the Quartz Center Heist DLC in GTA Online, I thought it would be a good time to make a prediction and a wish list of cars that we as a community desperately want to see added into GTA Online. Now, there's a decent chance that this might be the last DLC that we get, so hopefully Rockstar has cooked up some banger cars for us, but if they haven't got to the finishing touches on them just yet, hey, maybe they'll consider adding some of these if they're not already planning to. The first car that I want to see is the Lamborghini Aventador. Somehow, this one has escaped having a proper representation in GTA Online for all these years, and it is confirmed to be in GTA 6 as we've seen a few times now, whether in the trailer, screenshots, or even on the cover art of Grand Theft Auto 6 as well now. People are inevitably going to say that we have the Ignis, the Zentorno, the Zaruso, and more are partially the Aventador, but none of them are close enough to the actual Lamborghini Aventador model, and in my opinion, that is something that should just happen before we go to GTA 6. Like, I kind of can't believe that we've never got an actual perfect Aventador representation in GTA Online. Like, we've got, you know, kind of little hints to it here and there with some of the other cars, but for being such an iconic vehicle, I actually don't know how we've never received a proper model in GTA Online. So hopefully, before we move on to GTA 6, this actually happens. The next car that I have on my list is the first generation Honda NSX. And this is one that honestly kind of shocks me as well, given how popular these cars are in real life. The customization could be absolutely crazy on it, and I think that the JDM and Japanese car community would absolutely love to see this thing. And even as somebody who doesn't really consider myself to be like that big of a Japanese car fan, I think an NSX just makes so much sense for GTA Online, and given that they've been adding a couple of sports classic type cars to GTA Online lately, perhaps this thing would even qualify to be in the sports classic category. Maybe I'm wrong, it would probably be in the sports category honestly, but I think this is one that we should absolutely get in GTA Online before it's too late. Up next, we got one that I've been talking about in like prediction and wish lists for probably years now, and that is an updated Benefactor Dubsta. Honestly, shocking to me that they have never given us an updated version of the G-Wagon in GTA Online, especially given how iconic and kind of meme-worthy these cars are when it comes to being the ultimate like pavement princess vehicles for the wealthy people of Beverly Hills, despite that these cars are actually extremely capable off-road and everything like that. I think they could have an updated Dubsta and have some great customization available for it. Maybe make it a more off-road capable version than the current one as well, like the 4x4 squared G-Wagon in real life. This is one I absolutely want to see before we move on to GTA 6, and if we never get one in GTA 5, I at least hope that they're going to do something in GTA 6, because at this point, it's been so long, and I think we honestly deserve an updated Dubsta. It's one of the most overlooked cars as far as getting an update goes, so this is one I hope to see get updated with this next update. Next up, I have one that isn't necessarily car specific, but this is more of a prediction than anything, that I could see Rockstar doing an updated version of another older car, similar to what they did with the Vapid FMJ Mark V, but potentially for something a little more iconic in the GTA Online community. I'm thinking an update with HSW or something like that of the Pagasi Osiris, Progen T20, maybe the True Fade Adder, one of those really iconic early-ish GTA Online cars that have not been touched or changed since release. Now, I could be totally wrong, this might never happen, but I just feel like there's cars that deserved an upgrade more than the Vapid FMJ, so maybe we'll actually get one. And I also feel like typically when Rockstar does an update to an old car, they typically don't do just like a one-off. Usually there's at least two, right? So I kind of feel like this is one that we're actually probably going to see with this next part of the update. Something else that I absolutely need to see is an updated truck. And something that is missing a lot of representation in GTA Online as it stands currently are heavy duty trucks like the Ford F-350, Chevy 3500, Ram 3500. Now I know we have the Sand King, but other than that we have no big diesel trucks. Given the appearance of what looks like a Ram 3500 dually in the GTA 6 trailer, I think it's somewhat likely that we may get a new large truck in GTA Online with this update. I think it is really long overdue, and I think a lot of people would appreciate having a new large heavy duty truck. Next up, we have the Jeep Cherokee Trackhawk. This is one I've seen almost constantly requested by the community, and I can't disagree with anyone. It is something that we should have. And a few years back, they added the Canis Castigator, which is based on the Jeep Avenger, basically a really small and less cool and less powerful version of the Cherokee. And honestly, even though it's the fastest non-HSW SUV in GTA Online, it's just simply nowhere near as cool as the Trackhawk. I think that given the lack of SUVs in the Mansion DLC, this one is perhaps more likely than before. However, I'm not going to hold my breath, but this is definitely something that we should get. Up next, we have the Benefactor Shafter V8. This is something that I think is also likely to get an update, is a newer version of the Shafter V12, but with the downsized engine into a V8. Now, the reason that I think this might happen relates to the appearance of an updated Mercedes model in the GTA 6 trailer. This is something that honestly is long overdue in my opinion. We haven't had any up-to-date Benefactor models since like the Schlagen GT and the Benefactor SM722, and that's going on 4 years now. So perhaps a new Shafter could even allow us to customize it like a Maybach, given how popular that line of Mercedes cars have become as well. So who knows, but I think this is one that is at least reasonably likely to happen, maybe, hopefully. Now there's a couple of police vehicles that we still haven't been given access to purchasing, so I think these ones will be very likely candidates to get released in the next update, and especially if this is the final update, I expect these to come out for sure. Those cars being the FIB Granger, the Sheriff Granger, and the FIB Buffalo. Honestly, I can't believe how long they've been holding on to these. I remember way back in the day trying to do a glitch to get a Sheriff Granger in the garage, and it used to actually work, but it never worked for me, and I've wanted one ever since. So I really hope that we'll get these ones with this next update. Something else I'd like to see is a Ferrari Purosang. Again, like I said earlier, there was a distinct lack of SUVs in the Mansion DLC, and I think this is one that could be extremely plausible to get, given how unique these cars look and how cool they are. I don't think this one is as likely as the Dubsta or the Trackhawk potentially, but it is a possibility and one that I would definitely like to see get added, at least personally. Something I honestly can't believe that has escaped getting added to GTA Online is the Tesla Cybertruck. Now, maybe it's because it's just so different from everything else on the road that Rockstar has trouble coming up with changing the design, or perhaps it's due to the lack of branding on the real-life vehicle. It might be too close to be able to add, and I'm honestly not sure. I'm just shocked that it hasn't been in the game, given how infamous of a vehicle it is in real life. This is one I would absolutely expect to see before we get GTA 6. Now, something personally that I would love to see is a McLaren 765 LT. I've been asking for this one for a long time, but given that in the Mansions DLC we got the Progen Luiva, I think getting a 765 is extremely unlikely at this point. However, I can't complain too much because the Luiva is at least somewhat close to the 765 LT, but it certainly would be an awesome car to see get added into GTA Online. Something else that I would love to see get added is the Nissan Silvia S15. Now, when it comes to JDM cars that have yet to be added to the game, as we discussed with the Honda NSX, but for me, the S15 is one of those cars that are definitely up there on the list of cars that should be added, and this car could have fantastic customization options, potentially drift tuning as an available upgrade as well, and it would fit in so well with the Tuners DLC cars, it would certainly make every Japanese car fan very, very happy. Now, I think this next one is pretty unlikely, and that is a Ferrari 458 Italia, and I think there's a large group of people that would absolutely love to see this car get added into the game, but I don't think it'll happen because we have the Imaggio in the game, which is effectively just an upgraded and updated version of the 458 with turbochargers added onto it and new engines and stuff like that. However, I do think this would be an extremely cool addition. I think it would be very popular in the community, and I really hope we get one. Up next, we have the Dodge Durango SRT Hellcat. Now, this is one that I am actually kind of hopeful to see, especially since we have what would effectively be the older version of the same vehicle in the Bravado Gresly. So potentially the new one could be called the Bravado Gresly Hellfire. Maybe it could have slightly flared fenders and have the same sound as the Gauntlet Hellfire, as well as just way more power. This is one that I know a lot of people want, and honestly, I think this one, given that Rockstar wouldn't have to do like that much work with it, is somewhat likely to be added into the game. And for the final car of the video, I thought this one would actually be a fairly likely candidate to be added to GTA Online, given how unique the car is, and that is of course the Koenigsegg Gemera. The Gemera is a 4-seater all-wheel drive supercar with some insane stats to back it up, like 1700 horsepower. I think the car looks great. It definitely fits the bill for a GTA supercar, and I really hope that we get one. Let me know what cars you guys would like to see be added in what is maybe going to be the final DLC to GTA Online. I'm curious to see what you guys think of my list and what cars you would want to see get added into the game. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, consider dropping a like and subscribing if you guys are new. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Till then, take care. Peace.